Hi, I'm Doug.
And I'm Cathy.
And this is Maggie Mae. Join us as we follow the moon. Any idea what this is behind us?
I have no idea.
Well, you'll know shortly because this is a famous spot if you want to have a drink. Not that kind of drink, and probably not any kind of drink that you're thinking of. But we are on Route 66 in Oklahoma, heading east, so come along.
Thanks.
If you guessed a 66-foot tall, 4-ton soda bottle, you would have been right.
You would have.
This is Pop's 66 Soda Ranch, and take a look at that cantilevered covering it's got over the fuel pumps. No posts.
That's scary.
Yeah, that's really something. Pop's, you can see in the window, has all kinds of soda pop. In fact, 700 varieties. Anything from sparkling waters to ice cold refreshments, great food in their diner.
Have you picked out a favorite yet?
Not yet, but I don't think the buffalo wing soda right there would be my favorite. You name it, any flavor you can think of, they have. What would blue be? Well, you never know.
Maybe coconut?
No, blue cheese.
Blue cheese.
I went with the raspberry. I thought that was a little bit more tame.
Yeah.
Waffle and syrup, bacon, spaghetti, marshmallow, you name it, they have it. And those are all lined up along the windows as well as already chilled for you. And these old candies that I haven't seen in years, blackjack chewing gum, clove, Reed's hard candies, they've got it all. We got some tamer ones to try, and we'll let you know what we think of them. Literally across the street and just down the road is the Arcadia Round Barn. And that round barn is really a historic landmark on Route 66. It was built in 1889. The farmer's last name was Oder, and they've got the farm equipment around to the side of the building, but that barn was left abandoned and has been completely restored in the last few years. And it was made round like that so that the extreme winds in the area would blow over it and blow around it and not bother it.
It must have worked.
It's been there since 1889. I guess it has. Now, just down the road, we found this. And it's out of the same stone that you'll see in this area that was actually quarried out to make the road. But it had a little sign on it there that said it was historic property, and then had that little letter that explained it was a gas station.
And that would have been really easy to miss if we hadn't have been
watching. Yeah, absolutely. We also saw the Seaba Station Motorcycle Museum.
That was neat.
This was really cool, and I'm real sorry that we didn't get to go in it. We'll show you why here in just a moment. As we were checking the hours and everything on this one. But this was originally a gas station, and it is now a motorcycle museum.
And yes, the motorcycles are all in there.
They are all in there. This place went on the National Registry in 1995, but it has new hours, no set hours. You can make a phone call to that phone number on there if you're going to be in the area to make sure that somebody will be there. Love that little shed. And this was through the window, so you can see that it's full. So we'll try to bring you more motorcycles a little bit later here. But these are the things you see along Route 66. Gas station on the left, gas station on the right, and quite a few of them have been preserved real nicely.
I love these old towns.
Yeah, And these old towns, you can tell, really love Route 66.
Yes.
We're now in Chandler, Oklahoma. And Chandler is a nice little old-fashioned looking town.
It reminds me of the town that my mother was born and raised in.
Look at that little Phillips 66. And this huge big stone building used to be the National Guard Armory, and it's now the Route 66 Interpretive Center. This is another one of these. I think it was $6 for admission. It was very, very reasonable to get into. But it has a lot of character. This was the large room of the armory, and they actually use this now as for meetings, for wedding receptions. The stage actually has a shooting range underneath the stage. This is the main building or main room of the Interpretive Center, and that is a map of Lincoln County, and you can see where 66 and Route 44 go right through it. These pictures were all commissioned for this. And you can see Lucille's up there. You can see the top of the barn there that we just were at. That's coming up in Tulsa. That's coming up in Catoosa. That was actually Angel's Barbershop, Roy's, Blue Swallow. And that's where it all started for us, the Santa Monica Pier.
Yeah. It's fun to see the pictures and no, we were just there.
Now those are seats out of a vintage Mustang, and you can sit there in the seats and watch one of their video presentation. They also had beds in there that you could lay in bed and look up at the screen. The wall with the Phillips 66 sign was the poured wall for the ammunitions that were kept there. Great little gift shop. I love the Lincoln Motel.
Too, yeah.
They're all little like duplex cottages. And this also is in Chandler, the bowling alley.
This is great.
What a bowling alley. All the gas station signs. Like I said, this is one of these towns that's really, really proud of being on Route 66.
I didn't get a chance to ask anybody if they were doing anything special for next year.
Most of them are. This was as we drove through Davenport on our way to the next town, Stroud, Oklahoma. And Stroud again has one of the old-fashioned main streets. You see a lot of the buildings that were there probably even before 66 became Route 66. It is nice too. One thing Oklahoma has done, they've maintained Oklahoma 66 as the route number. So it makes it easy to follow the road when it's still there.
It's so easy to modernize everything.
That's right. This is the Rock Cafe. And the Rock Cafe has a big history. It was originally built in 1936. And they put the neon around the building that's still there today in the 1940s. They do have this little Curios shop, a lot of it themed around the movie Cars. And this is their menu. It's like a giant placemat, all about Route 66 on one side and all about all of their good foods on the other side.
And yes, that's really good food.
Yes. And then Betsy is their grill. And Betsy was installed when they first opened. The building went through a fire and was completely gutted. All that was left were the stone walls and Betsy, and she's still cooking today. Cathy had catfish, pinto beans, coleslaw, and I had probably the best Reuben sandwich I think I've ever had. And the grill does a number on the grilling the bread. It was great. Now, the heart of Route 66 Auto Museum is on around in Sapulpa, Oklahoma, and I hope I'm saying that one right. This has got 38 restored automobiles in their museum. And again, this one was another one of those very inexpensive ones to go into, but definitely well worth it. Nice little gift area when you first go in. And then there's two wings on this, one off to the right, one off to the left. You start in with a Maserati. That's a tough act to follow, but they do a nice job with it. Little Isetta. This brings back memories for Cathy. That's the tritium cell of a smart car. The one on the left is the Ford Jeep. The one on the right was the Willys. There's an Amphicar and a Corvette with its flat 6-cylinder.
And you said there were some in there that were custom.
Yeah, the one there in the corner. This was actually a Foo's creation. They said over $2 million. It's on loan from a Canadian couple. And it looks like a 65 Chevy Impala, but it's a Corvette underneath. That's why it's only a 2-seater. But yes, there's some beauties. This is one of those, I believe it's a Skyliner. I get confused between the Skyliner and the Sunliner. But it had the retractable hardtop, and then back under the trunk lid where the top stores, you had that tub in the middle, and that was your trunk. That red one was an Allard, which I'd never heard of, a Chrysler 300, and General Motors' first electric vehicle, the EV1. Those were supposed to have all went back to GM and been crushed, but there's a couple of them out there. And that blue paint is something else on that one. And you gotta have a Barracuda. A couple of them that are a little bit older back here in the back. And for those of us that like the little 2-seaters that are a lot of fun, there's an MGA and a Triumph back there. Well, now we're off to Tulsa, and this is the Cyrus Avery Bridge and Centennial Plaza. This was a walking bridge that was put over the main road. There's a flag there for every state that contains Route 66, and this sculpture is incredible. Look at the cat in the back seat there. And I can just see when Route 66 was starting out, the horses and the horseless probably didn't get along real well. And he had his dog there in the back who's watching it all happen. The detail on those are incredible.
He was like, is that a cat?
We're right there on 66. And at the end of that plaza, you'll see the gates going across there. This was the Cyrus Avery Bridge that took Route 66 across the Arkansas River. Now, the Vickery Phillips 66 station, also in Tulsa, you can see the round Phillips 66 sign there on the end. On the front, it was replaced by one that says, "We try harder." It's now an Avis location. Just a little bit further through Tulsa, we come through the Meadow Gold sign from the huge big old Meadow Gold building that is not there any longer, but they now have Meadow Gold Mac out there. Meadow Gold Mac, the lumberjack, one of the muffler men. And literally within the same block across the street, you come to Buck Adams' Cosmic Curios. And there is Buck Adam.
Showing off his fish.
Mm-hmm. And there is a muffler woman. I believe she's Sophia Adam, but I won't swear to it.
And those who want automated.
Yeah. They've got a great store in there. They have bobbleheads of the different muffler men that you'll find. They had some really unique Route 66 items in there. That's definitely one to stop at. It's just not a carbon copy of all of them. And this is the bridge that we just were at. And just 2 blocks from there is Ikes Chile. Wow.
Yeah.
You can get it chili, you can add beans. They're famous for their 3-way, which is chili with beans and spaghetti, which is what we tried with melted cheese on the top. And that's what it is. And first you have to dig through the cheese.
Yeah.
And then she'll bring up some of the spaghetti there for us. That was fantastic. That's a must stop. And our last stop in Tulsa is the Route 66 Harley-Davidson dealership. They have really embraced the Route 66. And we told you we'd show you some motorcycles today, so this was the perfect last stop in Tulsa. Beautiful store, and what an inventory.
Yeah, it was huge.
Look at that. That is the prettiest bottle green trike I think I've ever seen. Well, Cathy, we're ending up in Tulsa today. What have you thought about our first 2 sections of Oklahoma?
This has been a lot of fun. It really has. It's just, it's beautiful. We've come out of the desert and into
Trees.
trees and grass, and it's still red dirt though.
That's right, but there's so much green everywhere.
Yes.
And there's so much interesting to see, and we've got the 3rd section of Oklahoma coming up next week. You won't want to miss. If you've enjoyed so far, leave us a thumbs up. We appreciate it. If you haven't already subscribed, watch for the button up in this corner at the end of the video. If you tap that, ring the bell, you'll know when every one of our videos come out.
And thank you for following us as we follow the moon.